Mokuba might have been fooled by that laugh into thinking this was just a casual meet between old acquaintances, except for that the man's right fist held a deadly weapon trained on him. The chair he sat on was uncomfortable, but he paid little attention to that. He strained to keep his eyes on the enemy's face and ignored the gun, but he couldn't. The more he tried, the more his head kept turning, ever so slightly, as if magnetized.
I see you've a fine memory. Just like your brother, Seto does have a shockingly accurate memory, doesn't he? Some say that is why he's done so well for himself. Do you think that's true, little Kaiba?
It's part of it.
Yes, part of it. I'm sure you're quite right. That isn't all of the reason he has amassed such success, isn't it? No, I think your esteemed brother was quite born to this urban arena, shall we call it. Don't you think? He seems quite at home atop the food chain, doesn't he?
There was a glass of red wine sitting on the table by Siegfried's free left hand. He lifted it as if toasting his guest, and took a sip.
You will forgive me if I do not share with you, little Kaiba. I'm not sure Seto would much appreciate my allowing you to partake of alcohol. Quite protective of you. I should surely not like to countermand his parenting.
I don't think he much appreciates you kidnapping me and holding me at gunpoint either, you freak.
God, what was he going to do? Mokuba had dealt with this kind of situation several times, and sure, every time it had been with a complete nutcase. But something about Siegfried's serenely pleasant face unnerved him. This wasn't normal crazy. This wasn't the crazy Mokuba was in any way comfortable with. He'd never much liked the man who had taken it upon himself to be Seto's eternal rival. Even as a child, Siegfried von Schroeder had been creepy. The pink hair was nothing compared to the way he acted, the way he talked. Mokuba thought now that he finally understood what frightened him about this man. He was a psychopath. Any proof needed of that was staring him in the face right now, grinning amiably as he drank wine with one hand and kept Mokuba pinned to his chair with the other, with a gun that reminded the boy none too comfortably of the one Seto kept at his right hip. Setting his glass down, Siegfried's grin widened as he slipped his hand into his lavender jacket and removed from it a compact cellular phone.
An associate picked this up for me. Say, I know it would be quite rude with you sitting right here, but you wouldn't mind if I gave an old friend a call, would you? It's been so long since we've talked. I should very much like to know how he's doing.
Mokuba drew in a shuddering breath, hating himself for the weakness he heard in it. He forced himself to take in several more deep, calming breaths as he tried to remember how Seto would handle this. Seto wouldn't back down. Seto wouldn't show fear.
Knew someone would clock this guy good. He'd have the bastard on his knees begging for mercy before he even had the gun ready.
The thought helped calm him. Not much, but it helped.
So nice of you to call.
Ah, now, is that any sort of tone to take with an old friend?
I wouldn't know. I don't have old friends.
Well now, my dear boy, that all depends on what your definition of old friend happens to be. But we'll quarrel over semantics later. I should say I have a more pressing matter on your mind right now, don't you?
Seto jabbed a finger to Roland, then pointed to his Veron. Without speaking, Roland nodded and set to his task.
I should say so. You're a sharp one, aren't you? Since you're so intellectually inclined, perhaps you can tell me just who is going to pay to replace my limousine.
Oh, I am so sorry. I did not intend for Adachi to do something so lavishly theatrical to your vehicle.
I'll just bet you didn't.
Darren stared at him, clearly unsure as to how he should act right now. Seto sighed deeply in irritation. Now he understood. Now he knew. The English was flawless, the hallmark of a genius mind, considering the rumors on just how quickly he had learned it. But there was only one man he knew with even this barest hint of a German accent, and of course, it would have to be him.
But it was quite surprising, wasn't it? You have to admit, the man does know how to draw attention to himself. So, I'm betting you're rather nervous right now, aren't you? I'm sure you figured out by now that it was I, and not Adachi, that was responsible for this situation. So, you must be asking yourself, just what did I want Adachi to do? What is my aim?
Well, that's not a very important question, Von Schroeder, because I'm quite sure you'll tell me, in painfully explicit detail, eventually.
Ah, I knew you would remember. Well done, Seto. Well done. Well, that's one mystery solved, isn't it? So, have you figured anything else out then? How has that wondrous mind of yours served you this time, my friend?
Seto began to walk slowly back to his vehicle as Roland popped back out of it, looking stern and nervous.
There are two possible motives at work here. I'm not sure which one applies to you. Either monetary, in which case you are holding Mokuba in order to use him to bargain with me. Unlikely, as you define the concept of obscenely rich. Or vengeance, in which case you are holding Mokuba in order to make me squirm. Either way, he was not present when Saruwatari decided to ruin my limousine. That's far too efficient. Your mind doesn't work that way.
Ah, well, I did want you to wander for at least a little longer. Heighten the surprise, you know. But I must admit, you are right. Little Mokuba was not killed in that most charming explosion. No, he is right here, in fact. He does not seem very pleased to see me, however. Do you know why? I have heard from so many sources how friendly he is.
That's quite a mystery. Tell him I'm proud of him. He knows a raving idiot when he sees one.
Oh, I do think he knows quite well how proud you are of him, don't you, little Kaiba? I dare say you live on that pride. Without it, I wonder how long it would be before you starved, withered. Without that pride, would you die alone? Purposeless? Would you falter like a machine without a user to man the controls?
So, vengeance then.
You do think you know everything, don't you, Seto?
I know enough.
Well, that is a rather subjective idea, but allow me to give you a little more information just to help things along. You can find me and your darling brother at 1342 Yellowtail Terrace. You know where it is? Be quick, won't you? I do so want to see you again, my old friend. We have much to discuss, you and I.
We can discuss your execution date. If you think I'm going to take it easy on you this time, you're sadly mistaken. I swear to you, if I find the barest bruise on him, if I find a splinter in his little finger...
You'll kill me, yes, I'm quite aware. And no, I do not mock you. I know full well that you harbor the capacity and willpower to kill me. In fact, I can guarantee that you will. Because, well, let's not discuss all the surprises over the phone. So impersonal. Meet me here and we'll resume. Shall we?
I'd forgotten how much I hate you, Von Schroeder.
Well, I'm pleased to know I helped you remember. Goodbye, old friend.
Hey, Kaiba, there you guys are. I thought... Oh, shit.
Clean up, nothing else. He's been taken elsewhere.
This is just to throw you off track?
Seto noted with some degree of satisfaction that he said throw you off, and not us. He wasn't entirely certain why he was pleased, only that he was. He pushed that idea into the back of his mind and slipped back into his car.
Follow if you think you must, but be quick about it.
He sped off, and the two teams watched him go as they alternated their gaze between the striking blue vehicle to the right and the blazing orange bonfire to their left. It struck Joey and Tristan both, at about the same time, that not so long ago, Seto Kaiba taking that tone with them would have resulted in a brawl. Now, it just frightened them. They heard the underlying tone, beneath the icy nothingness he had been trying to pull over himself. That combination of smoldering fury and white-cold fear. He knew something that they did not, and it had him shaken. Joey thought, as he climbed back into his car, careful to keep Detective McKinley's Impala in sight as it followed Seto's Veyron, that there was something inherently deeply wrong with the idea that Seto was scared. Seto Kaiba didn't do scared. The worst part about it was that it was contagious. He was scared. If Seto freaking Kaiba was frightened this time, then good goddamn, there was good reason to be frightened. Joey thought distantly of sharing this revelation with Tristan, but when he glanced over to his side to look at the brunette, he saw he didn't have to. Tristan looked even more shaken. It was almost comical. They both had spent so much time despising the man, hating him, and everything he stood for, but even as they hated him, they had come to rely on him. So long as Kaiba has it under control, everything's good. Conversely, if Kaiba didn't have it under control, everything was wrong, dead wrong. Mokuba watched carefully, taking in every possible detail as Sigfried's manservant, whose name was Ivan, brought out his master's dinner. The man was tall, clean-shaven, and looked bored out of his mind. He cast a flicker of a glance at the boy as he set the tray down on the table, and the glance seemed to apologize. Mokuba wasn't in much of a mood to see it.
Dankeschön.
Ivan bowed as he removed the cover from the tray, revealing 2 bowls of steaming soup. Mokuba crossed his arms and leaned back in his chair when the pink-haired gunman gestured with his free hand for his guest to eat.
9. Danke. Nisama's cooking is better.
But you don't even know. Has dear Seto not taught you not to say you don't like something until you try it? I'm sure he has. You should try it, little Kaiba. Ivan is quite good at his work, I assure you. You may be surprised.
I don't like surprises.
Now you are lying. Perhaps Seto does not like surprises, but I'm sure that you do. You don't want to hurt Ivan's feelings, do you? Not you. Not Seto Kaiba's golden boy.
Ivan can drop dead.
Now, why would he do that?
Ask Nisama. He'll tell you.
You are fascinating, little Kaiba. Do you know, this is something I've wondered for quite some time, and I do hope you'll indulge me. I do not doubt that you are a bit familiar with your native tongue, if I may use the term, but you do not speak irregularly, excepting that one particular title, Nisama. Tell me, does he ask you to call him that?
No.
And why do you then?
You wouldn't get it.
Try me.
I'd rather not. Because I have to.
You just stated that he does not ask you to use that title. So am I to assume this is something you have decided?
A long time ago.
Why is that?
English wasn't good enough. He's more than my brother. A lot more. And I need to tell him that. He needs to hear it. Nobody else ever bothers to thank him for it, so I do.
So sweet of you, little Kaiba. Touching. You two are inseparable, aren't you?
We never had any parents, so he had to be mine. It's just what he decided.
You do not consider the former Master Kaiba your father?
Yeah. He's a father like you're a brother. I bet Leon just adores you.
I see. Yes, well, one does hear stories. A sad state, living with that man must have been, if those stories are true. If I were to hazard a guess looking at you, little Kaiba, I would say they are, perhaps even worse. It would come as no surprise that you would cling to your brother, then. A safety net, yes?
Mokuba didn't answer. Ivan came out again and replaced the tray with another, an array of meat, bread, and cheeses, and once again the boy refused them.
Why shouldn't I? He's done more for me than anybody else. He loves me. He protects me. I owe him everything.
Everything? You owe him everything?
Yes.
Well, now that is curious. I have to wonder if dear Seto planned it that way. How is it said? Men like him know which kids to bully and which ones to protect? I know Seto Kaiba better than you might think, my boy. In fact, I think I understand him quite a bit better than you'd be comfortable with. I don't think you understand just what is happening here, little Kaiba, but in the end, I will show you what I know. You will see, child, just before the end.
I won't see anything except you with a bullet in your head. You know he'll kill you for this, don't you? He doesn't have a gun, so he can look at it. When he gets here, he's gonna use it.
I know far more about how this night will end than you do, I'm afraid. And I'm also afraid to say they won't be seeing me with a bullet in my head, although I'm certain you're right. That is more than likely how my life will end.
He continued to eat, and Mokuba continued to stare. Ivan came out again some time later, with a plate of sausages and potato salad. Again, there was that flash of apology, and again, Mokuba didn't want to see it. As he watched his captor eat, Mokuba felt his heart begin to speed up. This was wrong.
You should really eat, dear boy. This is the last meal that either of us is likely to have.
Darren approached the entrance and backed against the wall to the left of the doors. Nodding to Seto and the others, he reached over and opened one. Seto entered into the central hallway, and his attention was immediately caught by a security camera set above the first door to his right.
He knows we're here. Wheeler, Taylor, you and the detective scope out the rest of this heap. I want no surprises. I'll find our host.
No. You two find the security system and see if you can figure out Mokuba's location. I'm staying with Seto. You know how to use that, don't you?
Always preferred my fists, all honesty. I'm a blunt trauma kind of guy. No worries, Magnum, we can take care of ourselves. If we end up dead, we probably deserved it.
Speak for yourself. If I end up dead, I'm blaming your ass. And don't think I won't haunt you either.
Fine, whatever.
And without another word, he reached for the door in front of him and opened it with a jerk of his arm that nearly tore it off its hinges.
Well, now, be polite, little Kaiba. Greet your Ni-sama. You're here just in time, my dearest Seto. And you've brought someone else with you. How nice. How considerate. You'll want to see this, both of you.
See what?
The end of the world!